Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Metal Hammer of Doom. Clutch, always bringing us in there, puts a smile on my face. Right now, you are tuned in to one man going solo here as we speak, which will probably change here in a few minutes. Unfortunately, our patriarch, Mark Radlich, feeling a little under the weather, and therefore is unable to make tonight's show, which is perfectly fine. We told the man, get well, get better, and get back on here as soon as you feel up to it. So I am your host right now, Jesse Starcher, and we are going to be discussing this evening an album that was brought to my attention by one Robert Cooper. Now, Robert Cooper is I'm pretty sure he was aware it's at 9 o'clock tonight. It is Wednesday. He will be here shortly. So we will be joined by the Metal Coop himself at some point, I assume. But Coop shared this, oh my goodness, it was probably a couple months ago in our chat. He's like, hey, we got to check out this band. It's called Unleash the Archers. So after a week or so, I finally checked out the link that he had sent. It was to one of their I think it was the most recent video at that time that had been released, which was Cleanse the Bloodlines. First, I was like, oh, these guys do kick some butt. It's pretty good. And of course, as always, usually I'm going to check out the album on Spotify, which I did, and hopped onto the album called Apex and gave it a good listen. Now, my initial thoughts were I was very impressed, and we'll get into that as we go later on through the show and as we reach the end. But this is a female-fronted band. A lady by the name of Brittney Slayes is our lead singer. And these guys have been around for a while. According to what I've read, 10 years. 10 years that Unleash the Archers has been on the scene. And this being their fourth album that's been released, Apex. I'll tell you, I'll give you a little bit of history of what I know about Unleash the Archers. Not a thing. Haven't heard anything from these guys before actually getting into what Coop had shared with us. So this was a new one for me. And it's always pleasing. It's always nice to check out a new band and be impressed right away. So the three albums that came before this, no clue. I have no idea. So give me a moment here. I'm going to double check with Coop just to make sure and just let him know show's starting. And yeah, like I said, he'll be on here shortly. So fourth album, This is called Apex. Now, let me give you an idea of what we're going to be getting into tonight, okay? This is a concept album. Now, I've always praised concept albums on this show. Love them, especially when they're done well, okay? When the concept is and the story is told and it's done well through music that you enjoy, you've got a winner on your hands. So the concept of this album is about a character by the name of the Immortal. Okay, there's no name that you get other than that throughout this album. And the Immortal is it's a person who, or I don't even know if you'd call it a person. I assume the Immortal looks like me or you, but there's a lot of power that this Immortal possesses. If I was to liken what the Immortal is, if you've ever seen the show Once Upon a Time, it's on ABC. A lot of characters from a lot of the Disney. It's live action, but a lot of characters from some of the Disney films have been in there. One of those is Rumpelstiltskin, and Rumpelstiltskin is controlled by this blade. Whoever owns this blade controls Rumpelstiltskin, and Rumpelstiltskin has all this crazy power. Like he can grant wishes, he can he can do all sorts of crazy stuff, and he's a very powerful being. So that's similar to who the Immortal is here, except the Immortal has compassion, I guess I would say. When you compare him to Rumpelstiltskin from that show, Rumpelstiltskin comes off, aside from his origin, he comes off as a little more upon the dark side of things than he is more towards, I guess I would say, good. So that's who we get with the Immortal here. And this 10-track album goes through and tells us the story of a tale of what the Immortal is going through. So we're going to get to listen to that. That's where we start off. I had the opportunity, and if anybody out there has the chance, please go check out the YouTube track by track. It's a 3-track commentary hosted and given to you by Brittney Slayes herself in front of a very, very impressive library of books. All right, hold on just a second. We have, I believe, the Metal Coop himself calling in here. What's going on, Cooper?
Somebody said library?
Just as he calls in, right when library said. What's up, man?
I fell asleep.
I
woke up. I was like, I know. I'm doing a Mark Radlich.
No, you haven't done that on the podcast yet. When you do that on the podcast, then you've pulled a Mark Radlich. And sleeping before is perfectly fine.
I set an alarm for 8:50, and I think I woke up at 8:50. I'm like, I'm good, and just went click.
Oh, I've been there. Well, I turn it over to you, sir. I've given our regular old spiel, where I heard of Unleash the Archers, if I've ever heard of them before. I've done all that good jazz. I let them know that the first time I ever heard of them was you sharing that video in our chat. So I turn it over to you to take control of the show, number one, and number two, kind of cover our regular spiel before we get into track one.
Of course. Yeah, I heard of them when I was reading a metal website one day, and they had there's a spider on this floor. They had what was it, like what's coming out this week in metal? Mm-hmm. And I saw Unleash the Archers, and I'm like, well, that's a different name. So I just kind of clicked on it, and I got their video for Tonight We Ride, and that's an awesome video. It's like Mad Max inspired. They got, like the leather and the fucking like dune buggies in the desert. It's pretty fucking cool.
Nice.
So I got to that song, and then I just kind of listened to the rest of their singles, and I think like later that week I just threw on like a full few albums, and I thought they were pretty fucking cool. So when I found out, they got a new album coming out, I'm like, well, I know what we're doing on the show. Yeah, I don't ask for much. So I got like 2 more albums this year that I'm like, guys, we got to do it. No, as I'll get to, we'll have to find out.
Yeah. Well, I think that you definitely picked a winner here with this album. I have not gone back and listened to any of their previous catalog as per usual. I've listened to what they've released now, but I haven't listened to anything prior. So I don't know. I don't know what this sounds like compared to the rest of things. But as I was saying, this is a concept album, which already gets, a thumbs up for me. I'm happy about that. I'll give a concept album a chance any day, no matter what it sounds like. But, awesomely enough, I enjoyed the way that this sounded. So, and female-fronted bands, I mean, there's quite a few out there, but there's been very few that really caught my ear that I really, really like. I mean, I can name off the top of my head Arch Enemy. I enjoy some of the stuff that they put out there, but I'm not a huge fan. And, well, we've already covered one last week, and I almost shudder to even talk about them as being metal. So, yeah.
That album. Like, I really like female-fronted bands. Like, there's a different perspective that you'll find from, like, the Matriarch, which is like, whoa, a song from a female's perspective. Holy shit. So rare. And, I mean, it's a very male-dominated genre, which is not surprising considering the music. But, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of good female-fronted bands. Epica, Nightwish, those are two of them. Arch Enemies.
Totally forgot about Epica.
And there's Arch Enemy, which I like Arch Enemy, but like lyrically, I'm like, God, there's some fucking cheese here.
Is there?
Like, it's some pandering cheese. Like, I like their older stuff a lot better, but I mean, they've got that whole gimmick of like, girl that growls, holy shit.
Yeah. Battle Beast.
Because that's kind of like
other
what
one
they're big for.
Battle Beast was another one that I've paid attention to lately. That most recent album, I was impressed. I mean, you could feel the 80s in that for some reason. I don't know why, but you could just feel that power metal 80s vibe coming through that album right there. But yeah, this one, Brittney Slayes will tell you right now, what we hear coming from her on this album is really, there's nothing that compares to what I've heard on other stuff. She has a voice, and she can do a damn good job belting out some lyrics. So,
I would totally agree with that. She's got a real good set of pipes on her, and she puts them to real good use. She's got a lot of vocal variation too, which I really appreciate.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, what do you want to do, man? You got anything else you want to talk about before we get into the first track? Are you ready? Well, let me ask you. Did you know that this was coming into the night? Did you know this was a concept album telling a story about a person's journey?
I did not.
Get ready, sir, because that track-by-track commentary that I watched on YouTube opened my eyes to a lot. And that's what I love about bands who take the time to sit there and verbalize what it's about. Yeah, I can listen to it and pick it apart, but if the person that's writing the lyrics, just wait till you hear the story that's being told. So we're starting out with track 1. Do you have the track list in front of you? I'll let you introduce them if you do. If not, I'll be glad to take reins on that.
Yeah, dude, give me just a second, because I had it pulled up on my PlayStation, and then I did this thing called fell asleep.
That happens.
There we go. All right, it does. As long as it's not like, what is that noise? that was still great. We're like, what's that noise? Somebody leave the fan on? It's like, it was, Mark being like, this is Mark. All right, here we go. Track 1 off of Unleash the Archer's new album, Apex. This is titled Awakening.
All right, The Awakening, bringing us in to Apex. What'd you think, man?
Oh, I really enjoyed that as an opening. I like that it had a kind of a slow build up to the actual music starting. And the only I guess knock I would give this song is I felt like the chorus is almost a bit bright compared to the tone of the rest of the album, well, just the rest of the song. But I mean, it's just kind of minor. It's just more of a personal sort of taste.
I hear you.
It's really not really something like, it's not like kind of 3 out of 5. Chorus was too bright in one song. Like, yeah, I just felt like it was a little. I just kind of felt like stylistically it was a bit a little jarring compared to. I don't know about how you feel, but I mean, yeah, this song was fucking hot fire. Definitely one of my favorite ones because I've thrown this album a few times at work after close, and it's one that definitely gets me pumped and gets me moving.
Yeah, man, it's fun. When I first heard this album, and I put it on and hit play, and I was like, that dun 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 at the beginning. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. You know, it kind of brings you in with whatever that, I don't know if that's a synthesizer or whatever they're playing there, but you know, I was like, this is, you know, it had this tone, and it kind of set this tone, and it was very fast paced, in your face, and I really enjoyed it. I loved how, you know, you could hear and understand everything she said, and when she hit those notes and, you know, and sung, it was just, again, like I said, very impressive. I was impressed at the way she was able to vocalize. Let me talk a little bit real quick as to what the introduction here to our concept. This is the first song in this concept. This story takes place, like I said earlier, around a character called the Immortal. Okay, that we don't know his name, we don't know who he is, but the Immortal has been summoned. Okay, this guy, he lives in this mountain, and every once in a while, you probably heard there as we were playing the song, she mentioned something about once in 1,000 years or something like that. This guy, he basically hibernates or goes to sleep. He's dormant for a while until somebody summons him. So he's awoken, and he's like, okay, well, you know, he just wakes up in his mountain, and he's got to figure out what the hell's going on. Somebody just summoned him. So now he has to figure out, number one, why am I awake? What's my task? And who summoned me? So that's kind of what the awakening is about. It's about the Immortal trying to gather his, it's basically like Coop just waking up 5 minutes into a podcast. He wakes up, he's like, what's my task? What do I got to do? What number do I dial? But that's kind of what's going on here. The Immortal has been awakened, and he's a pretty powerful being. So that's where the awakening is when we're introduced into the concept of Apex. So, all right, man. What do you think of that?
I think me waking up 5 minutes into the podcast is very fitting. I mean, I woke up, I was like, you said library, why did you summon me?
Yes. Yes, indeed. My goodness.
It was quite a library, though. I mean, hey, graphic novels.
Dude.
George R. Martin, Stephen King, like, hey.
I mean, I really hope that is all hers. I hope she's not sitting at her boyfriend's house. You mentioned she's taken. So is she married, or is she?
I think her boyfriend is the drummer, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So I'm just crossing my fingers. Ladies that like the Dark Tower and collect Y the Last Man are few and far between. So
I need to read the Y the Last Man. I've heard amazing things.
Dude, we covered it on source material. We covered the first arc, I think, which was the first 10 issues, which was really good. I mean, dude, who is it that pins that crap?
Brian K. Vaughan, probably.
Thank you. Yes, it was Brian K. Vaughan. Yeah, and it's great. It really is. I read, I think, up to issue 15, and then of course other stuff got in the way, but I would have loved to have continued it. And I swear that I heard it was being optioned for a show at one point, but I've not heard anything about it since then. Great story, though. Great story.
I might have to rent it. I'm going to have to check it out from the library someday.
Oh, boy. You just tempted fate tonight, man.
I know. Even though I owed them like $10 already, because I've got 3 books for like the past that have been overdue well over a week, and I know it, but I'm like, you know what, whatever.
Why do they charge you?
Because it's overdue.
No, what do they charge?
Oh, what do they charge?
Yeah,
it's like 50 cents a day for a book.
Damn, for a book? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now things may have changed
like
up here, but it's only a nickel for books.
Nah, it's like 50 cents per book and like $1 per day with DVDs.
Well, they don't mess around.
Oh no, I tell them. I mean, well, at least there's a cap of $5.
Oh, that's good. There's a cap.
I mean, there's a cap. There's a cap. Oh, I've hit that. Trust me. I think I've hit it for one of these books, but sometimes I don't want to turn it back in because I'm like, I don't want to be that guy that checks out the same book from a different library.
Can't you do all that online? Can't you like renew it online or anything? See, libraries.
Well, yeah, but I'm out of renewals.
Oh, wow, dang, dude. Jeez.
I've had the book for one of these books for like a good month and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 months.
That's a problem. That could be a problem.
I've got too much to do. I've been watching the fucking New Japan G1. I'm finishing night 6. Night 12 just happened. Fuck.
Damn. You said how long is that? It's like 16?
18. And then I think a finals.
Damn.
So like 19 nights. And
wow.
taking care of my cat here because my cat lost a leg.
Oh, how'd that happen?
She had cancer. So they just yeah, so now she's a 15-year-old 3-legged cat.
Damn. Well, at least it wasn't like a lawnmower or something like that. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Well,
I had one cat when I was a kid that constantly got her leg broken because she would keep fucking feeding her kittens near the road where the leg just kind of stretched out into the fucking road.
Hey, well, you gotta watch out, for the cars.
That was a dumb cat. She eventually died after like 10 years of running across the street. I named her Roberta because she talked too much.
Meow.
Yeah, that is exactly. My parents named her Roberta because she's like meow, like all the time.
Oh my! I miss having cats, but damn it, man, it's heartbreaking when you lose them. Of course, when you have 20 of them, I imagine it probably makes it even worse. Jeez.
It's only 12, but
okay,
geez, 20. Yeah. Actually, I was going to say big difference. I'm like, well, no, there actually is quite a difference. But no, I mean, it makes it difficult, but at the same time, like you do have. I mean, it's not like the other ones are going to replace the one you lose, but it helps, because you already got some comfort.
That's right.
Kind of helps you come to terms. But still, it sucks to lose them. That's why I do things like instead of the vet was like, I was like, what about putting her down? The vet's like, well, I mean, she's happy. It's just she can't walk on that leg.
She can't do anything about the leg. Yeah.
yeah. Like it's because unfortunately the cancer was in her tissue, and we thought it was a bone cancer, but it had eaten away at the bone. So,
wow.
Yeah, so she couldn't really walk on it anymore. But it was, but it was one of those that was just in that area. They didn't really see it on an X-ray anywhere else. So,
that's good.
Hey, yeah,
that's good. Well,
that it is. All right, I guess we should probably get to track number 2, right?
Track 2, homie. What's the name of this one?
All right, here we go. Track number 2. It's titled Shadow Guide.
no slouch on the solo work. Some good stuff.
No. Yeah, like this, I would say that's one thing this band has a lot going. This band has a lot going for them, but one of the things I feel that's really crucial to their sound is the guitar work. Killer fucking solos.
Yeah. Yeah, that right there. I mean, it takes a lot for a band to showcase everything that they have. I know every band probably goes into an album and says, "Okay, well, hey man, you know, we've got to get got to get your shit in." You got to get your shit in. But the thing is that, you know, they do a wonderful job of creating a song or, you know, the album as a whole by allowing everybody to get their shit in, but it all comes together beautifully. So it isn't like, hey, we're doing this song and here's your chance to shine. No, you don't lose Brittney's vocals in any of this. I mean, when she's singing, you can hear that the band's going full out, but they do a great job of keeping her at the forefront. You don't lose her vocals in the stuff, and you don't lose the guitar work versus the vocals. They do a good job of blending it all together and letting you hear everything, and it all comes together wonderfully. Now, as for the concept here, as we continue, the Immortal has, for this part of the story, the Immortal has come out of his mountain home, and he's awaiting to find this guide that usually somebody's there to show him what his next task is going to be. Why has he been summoned? So he apparently wanders around for a little while just trying to figure out, okay, what the hell? And then he sees above him a falcon, and the falcon is what leads him to the next chapter where he's supposed to go. And when Brittney was talking about this, if this all came from Brittney's mind, oh my gosh, man, there's like, I would say anybody that listens to this band should, at least half the guys have got to fall in love with this girl, because she's smart. She's a great author. We've already talked about, you know, what she's got on her bookshelf, but the reason they called it Shadow Guide is because the falcon's shadow across the ground is what the Immortal would follow in order to get to where he was going. So there you go. That's the part of the story for Shadow Guide.
Interesting. So when you were talking about the falcon, all I could think of was the that time on King of the Hill. When Dale got a pet falcon. Did you ever see that episode?
I can say I have not.
He got a pet falcon, and he'd be like, "Look, I can make it go attack. I can make it catch things for me." And he'd take the helmet off of it, and it'd attack Bill every time.
That's funny. The old falcon. Falcon punch.
Oh yeah. Falcon punch. Yeah, I fucking love King of the Hill. But yeah, this song's fucking killer. Like, this album, like, it's interesting that it actually eases you into the longer songs. Like, the first, I'd say, like, half of this album is like 3, 4, 5 minute songs.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it starts getting into like 8, 9 minutes.
And
this song here is.
I was going to say, I don't notice that. There are some bands where we approach the 6-minute mark, and I'm like, we're not done? I have not at one time since I've legitimately listened to this album close to, if not more than 20 times since you've shared it and I first had the opportunity to listen.
Jesus.
Well, dude, I listen to music like probably 90% of my day because I usually have headphones in my ears while I'm working. So it's not a stretch for me to wear the shit out of an album off of Spotify. But I I can tell you that not once have I ever said, damn, this song's not done yet with these guys. Again, another positive mark in my opinion. That's something that says a lot for this band when you're not paying attention to the length of a song but are more enjoying what's being played. A fucking winner. So.
That is pretty cool though. I would love to listen to music like all day at work.
I'm sure you do. You got wait a second. I don't know if Lowe's don't have the over the air
they
speaker
have
stuff
overhead
they do.
music.
Okay, that's
they
what I'm
have
looking
overhead. I fucking love like Taylor Swift, a lot of Katy Perry. They love Phil Collins, which I love Phil Collins, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But damn, have I gotten to listen to a lot of just real mediocre pop music.
Oh, dude.
And they love that song "Work." Yeah, the one where it all says you gotta go to work, work, work. That's like the whole fucking song.
Oh yes.
So you gotta listen to it because you have a daughter.
Yep. Yeah. Oh hey, it's every day, bro.
Oh really?
I'm glad you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
It's every day.
It's every day, bro. It's every day. Okay. All right. Good.
Remember,
one of your buddies tagged you in a Logan Paul thing. I got in there and jumped in on it, and the only reason I know about that guy is because of my daughter. And every day, bro, I think is like one of his big fucking songs.
Oh, that fucker.
Yeah, dude.
Was that the one that I just wanted to hit in the head with a bat because he was a giant douche?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Sweet
I was actually on Reddit.
Jesus.
I was on Reddit a few days back, and I don't normally send texts or stupid memes to my daughter, but there was somebody put it said something like helping. Here's a little help, Kim, and it was a picture for Kim Jong-il or whoever. You know how they were going to nuke the U.S. and there was a picture that it said Canada, and then it said United States, and then it said Mexico. And where it said United States, it had a circle drawn around one house in Los Angeles, and it was Team 10, which is apparently the Logan Paul and all his dumbass people. Big old target right there. So I sent it to my daughter, and then, oh man, just ignorance abound. Dab on the haters. Dude, I suffer. I cannot wait to hear stories when you have the children. When you have the kids.
Oh, God, could you? Oh, that would require me to procreate.
Oh,
Jesus.
dude. Well,
that's like when it's like when my dad said that everybody wished when he was at work that he would never procreate because he'd have a kid that was just like him, which is not me. It's actually my I've got other siblings that are a little more like him, but
oh goodness.
Yeah,
no.
it's funny. He's like, yeah, there's one guy named Tink. He got a daughter who was little Tink. I'm like, really? That's amusing. Like, if I had a kid, like, I was an asswipe as a child. Like, I just absolutely sucked. So if I had a kid like me, I would probably end up accidentally pushing that kid down the stairs for my own sake.
Now, I'll tell you right now, if the more you have, you'll be surprised at the one you think. Well, let's just put it this way: Kira's an absolutely great kid. Had very little problems with her. Then my son Caleb came along and challenged me as a human being. So
that was me. I was that kid.
Yeah, dude. If you were that guy, if you were that kid, you seem like you. Well, I don't know if you give your parents a hard time now. It certainly doesn't sound like it. But at some point, I'm hoping that, he hits a level and it's just like, okay, I'm done with the bullshit. I love my dad. I ought to give him some peace before I kill him. Okay, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I eventually reached that point, yeah. But as a kid, I was temperamental. I was a smart ass. I didn't like to listen to people. I like to talk too much. I was like the worst kid on the baseball team, and but constantly would insult other teammates anyways. Like, yeah, I was a little shithead.
You are a shithead. Damn.
Like it's so funny. Like I was like, God, I was fucking awful, but I had no way to like really. I don't know. I wasn't very good at taking out. Like I was like an angry little asshole sometimes, but I didn't know how to take. I didn't know how to take it out.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of did. Yeah. If I ever get that kid, I'm like, oh fuck me. It's like, cause I always say, like, I've come to the conclusion that in doing enough teaching, even though I actually didn't end up doing that as a career so far, that a lot of times shitty parents are the reason you have shitty kids. But I think I was proof that you can have good parents and still have a shitty kid.
Yep. That's the truth. You find that out. I mean, there's some of them just, I don't know. Their goal in life is to challenge you, and as to why, that's the one fucking question that I would love answered. Why do you act like that? That's the thing. Do you have an answer as to why you did, or were you just because you wanted to?
I mean, I didn't want to listen. I thought I knew better.
Okay.
Like I didn't.
No.
Like especially, well, hell, I still talk too much. That's kind of how I am as a person. But I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there are plenty of psychosomatic things I can attach that to. But
okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it
well, we don't want to delve
them,
that
like,
deep.
A lot of them are just. Yeah, we don't want to go that deep quite yet. But I think it was just more of a. It's kind of just depends on who they are as a person. Like I really was just I was very stubborn and headstrong, and both my parents are, but I was just in a way that was just kind of almost obnoxious.
That nth level, I hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, and that's kind of. I mean, you get adults that are still like that, but I don't know. I feel like I chilled out in a few ways. Like I'm still a bit of a smart ass sometimes, and I'm not afraid to say what I'm thinking. Which is why I have a coworker that has nicknamed me No Filter. Because I usually when I walk into the break room, I'm like, oh God, fuck this place. So they fired 4 people this week already.
Damn. Ooh-wee.
Yeah, 4 people in 3 days. I'm
damn,
like,
man.
And inventory is next week, to where they take 15 people off the floor to. Oh yeah, some people they can't believe I'm still there because I say things like one of the guys that got fired. He was a manager. What he did was he rolled his he drove a Dodge Charger and it looked like a cop car, and some dude stole like fucking ton of drills as he was pulling in. So this dude's throwing shit into his car, and so he just kind of rolls his car back towards him. And the guy's like, oh fuck, cop, and threw it all back in the cart and drove off. And they took that and management declared that him as being confrontational, which I understand it, but
come on,
I disagree. I really did.
Yeah,
so it was
they didn't have to do that. That didn't have to be done. I mean, let the guy slide for shit's sake.
Yeah, I mean nothing. I mean, yeah, it could have happened. Like something bad could have happened. I agree, but. I really feel like it was okay. But yeah, him and another manager there was like, oh, look, we got the face of the company and the ass of the company. And he's like, what makes him the face of the company? I'm like, oh, he's a pretty handsome guy. He's got a long hair and a beard. And he's like, it's because he looks like Jesus. I said, yeah, but we got to keep him away from the lumber department.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, yeah, and if we get him near hardware, God, they're going to crucify him.
Oh, boo. Boo.
Oh yeah, that's the shit I fucking do. Like that is why people are like, why are you not fired?
How in the hell?
I think yeah, because of the shit. I just say stuff like that all the time. Like nothing was a good time. Like I once spent a half hour one morning doing suicide jokes in the break room.
Dude. Well, I'm sure here in about a week or two, it's on one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to be nice enough to say, Robert, just please do us a favor, maybe tone it down a little bit, Or they're going to be like,
I've
okay,
had that.
you're next. You're next, sir.
I've got that. Well, actually, it's not as bad. Like, my first week at this new position, I was so miserable and just angry. I was awful.
Ew.
Like, I was just, I was bad. I had, like, two people pull me aside and be like, hey, man, look. He's like, I've been in your shoes. You just watch out. You never know. He's like, I don't want you getting thrown into the office without knowing why.
Damn.
But then I got pulled aside this week. He was like, yeah, just letting you know. He's like, it's like, you're a hard worker, but sometimes you get just sidetracked talking. He's like, if we get out late, and some of the managers start thinking that. So, just kind of work on it. I'm like, all right, man, whatever.
You never.
At least they're cool enough to say something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they ain't giving you a whole. They ain't sitting down and writing your ass up or something stupid like that. So that's one way to look at it.
Yeah,
okay.
I typically take constructive criticism pretty well.
That's good. That's real good. So let's get into track 3 here before 10 o'clock hits. Speaking of talking.
Is it really almost 10 o'clock?
It's 9:47, sir. We've got a little bit. We can cruise through these. It ain't no big deal.
Shit.
There's only 10 songs on this album altogether anyway. But what's our third song?
Our third song here is honestly one of my favorites off of the album. The Matriarch, of course.
I agree with you 100%, man. This is the standout track for me. At least it is. It's got to be top 3 off this album, for sure. The way that, okay, you just heard, we've got, again, the powerful vocals along with some growls in there, or screeches. I don't know what you call that, but she makes, I don't know if that's her coming in or if that's one of the other guys coming in.
I think it's the guitarist is the growling vocals.
Okay. So, and it is a very standout song in my opinion. This is one of the, I think I've shared this particular song on Facebook at least 2 or 3 times since listening to the album, because it's that good. I think it's the hook. It surprises me that they took Cleanse the Bloodlines and made a video and released that, which is our next song, by the way. But because I really don't think what we hear from the next song stands out as much as this one in any way. I don't know if what they chose when it came to doing the video because of the subject matter of the next song. I don't know, but I learned a little bit on the commentary that she gave. Is that, I mean, about the video versus the song itself. I'll talk a little bit about that after we listen to the song. But did you have anything else you wanted to hear or say about the matriarch before I tell a little bit about the story and where we're at?
Well, I mean, I guess I could probably comment more once you talk about the story. But I really did feel like, I mean, just listening to the song without even looking deeply into the lyrics, it felt like a song that was very much from a female perspective, and it's something I thought was interesting. It was different.
Yeah, you're right there. When you talk about speaking from the female perspective, go ahead.
Oh, it's just something. It's really unique because, I mean, metal is such a male-dominated genre because, I mean, it's very intense. It's not necessarily the most welcoming. It's not like a lot of your pop music, which is kind of light and fluffy, or even, I mean, a lot of pop music now actually is kind of it has a more darker subject matter, which I find interesting. But it's just not as inclusive. It doesn't really have the same pull that metal does. Metal has a different sort of, it has almost more of an outsider sort of appeal to it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so a lot of the people that are drawn to it are typically like just skinny white boys or something. I don't know. That's what all the black metal is, skinny white boys and panda bear makeup. that's still one of my favorites. Like one of my favorites, like, yeah, what's this band? They're immortal. It's a bunch of skinny white boys in panda bear makeup. People are just like, what? Just because that tickles me to death. It tickles me pink.
Oh man.
Yeah, like overall, it's different. It's something that you don't often get because a lot of female fronted metal. There's a lot of females. Like a friend of mine just doesn't like female fronted metal. She's like, I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. I feel like it's more of a gimmick. I'm like, that's interesting. She's like the real feminist type. So I find it kind of peculiar.
Yeah, when I shared this album, or excuse me, when I shared this song, I kind of got a reaction from a good friend of mine here who listens to metal. He come out on there and he said, yes, it sounds pretty good, but I'm not a fan of female-led vocals. I was like, okay. I mean, I can kind of understand that because I may have been there at one point. But here's the thing. If you give it a chance and you listen to some of the good stuff that's out there by some of the good bands, you know, including this one we're talking about right now, you start to realize that, yeah, they hold their own. And they can do a good job of bringing forth a song that is very, very enjoyable, and bringing forth an album that's very, very enjoyable. One of the things I didn't like about Arch Enemy was you could, man, I don't know. I couldn't get the whole scream vocals that they did. I wasn't a big fan of that. And for some reason, as one is to do, it's just like, well, maybe this is what all female-led vocalists sound like, or female-led bands sound like, and that's a stupid generalization. You need to branch out. You need to try some other stuff, because when you hear something that really, you know, that you enjoy, it won't matter who's fronting the band. It's a matter of how the song sounds, or how the album sounds, or how the band sounds. So, yeah, Matriarch. Okay, yeah, now you said that this was told by a female perspective. You're right. We were talking about the Immortal. The Immortal is actually the subject and kind of the narrator of all these songs, except for two. It's this one and the next one, Cleanse the Bloodlines. The Matriarch is actually the antagonist of this story. She's the bad guy. She's like this sorceress, and she's laid waste to just about everything. She's very powerful. You kind of probably heard there, you know, there's stories that's being told across the land about how she could melt you with her eyes, all this crazy stuff. Well, she's the one who has now summoned the immortal. So she's the person that's actually bringing our subject of these songs, of this album, to her. And she's going to put the immortal to work for her. And what exactly it is that she's going to do, we don't know. But the Shadow Guide has now brought the immortal to the matriarch. And this next song, we learn exactly what the matriarch has planned for the immortal to do. What is her bidding? Well, would you like to introduce the next song, sir?
Of course. This song right here, I guess you could call it the single of the album, considering they made a nice, cool video for it. Yeah. This next song here is called Cleanse the Bloodlines.
Not part of the song. It's playing, I swear.
Any day now.
Yeah, no kidding. Didn't realize there was like a minute worth of... He's going to jump in here in just a second. Clearly there's a lot of stuff. Oh, here we go. The matriarch's got some bad plans. All right, you ready for this, Coop?
I think so.
Here we go. Okay, so this lady summons the immortal, and she's like, I need you to do something for me. Even though I'm one of the most powerful ladies of the land, I need you to go find my sons. Because what needs to happen? My 4 sons need to be returned to me in order for me to proceed with a ritual. Now, here's what she's going to do in this ritual. She's going to kill each one of her sons when the planets align, or by the time the planets align, in order for her to become immortal. So her plans are to get her sons, kill them, and then proceed to become immortal by the time the planets align. Now, one of the things she tells the immortal, even though she summoned him, she says, hey, look, you do this for me. I'm going to go ahead and I will free you from your trap. The way I get it is like he's like a genie, you know. You can summon him. He's there to do your bidding. So she kind of sweetens the deal and says, you do this for me. You bring all 4 of them here. I'll let you go. And you're free to do whatever. So that's kind of where we're setting up here. That's what the immortal's job is. He is now set upon to go find this lady's 4 sons, bring them back, and let her kill them. So just real quick in regards to the video, I thought the video would be a representation of the song. Brittney clearly said that no, that's not the case. It actually just represents, I think, one moment in the video, or excuse me, one moment in the album. It's still a kick-ass video, but don't watch the video and expect it to be actually referencing specifically what's going on in Cleanse the Bloodlines. Even though I think what occurs in the video is do you remember what happens? Like her son die, or one of the guys die? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the video. So, but you got an answer for me, Coop?
I don't quite remember. I just remember it was her, and I remember and the band, and then I remember there was an older lady in it.
Yep, she's the matriarch, and I think what she said was the boy. I think it was her youngest son that was supposedly there. And we actually don't meet the youngest son in this album until like another 3 tracks. So, but yeah, there you go. That's what's going on with Cleanse the Bloodlines. Our matriarch, not so. She's got her own agenda here, and she's going to kill her own sons to become immortal. Crazy.
What if she kills the Batman?
To kill the Batman.
We must kill the Batman.
Oh my goodness. Cleanse the Bat line.
Cleanse. That's the Bat family. Just saying.
There is Shazam. Oh boy.
Did you just say Shazam?
Shazam. Well,
kill them all with fucking lightning.
Dude, we were on Screaming Boy this past Friday, and we were talking. We were trying to do something that kind of fit in with the military theme that was going on throughout the week, and so we had a fun talk about G.I. Joe and all sorts of goofy stuff, and then all of a sudden we dropped one of the craziest, because we were talking about military shows, and the thing that came up was Gomer Pyle. You ever watch Gomer Pyle? Were you ever?
I know of Gomer.
Okay, all right. Well, I understand you're definitely not as old as I am. When you had to deal with reruns like on TBS or whatever of Gomer Pyle, and that's all your grandma watched, and that's how.
Oh, dude, I had to deal with that.
Okay, all right. But we got into a discussion about how Mayberry was not actually Mayberry that was portrayed on TV. It was instead a sleeper camp for mind-wiped soldiers. And Barney Fife, of course, Gomer Pyle, I believe, came out of Mayberry and went into, of course, the Marines. He became a Marine, ladies and gentlemen. Gomer Pyle did. And that was the whole show of Gomer Pyle USMC. But Snake Eyes, my friend, was modeled off of Barney Fife. There you go. That's what happened on Screaming Boy. Those were the conclusions that we drew and the fun discussion that we had. I'll leave that as the last bit I plugged for that show. But, all right, did you have something? Did you have something you wanted to say about Cleanse the Bloodline?
Pile.
I know, Shazam.
Like, I never actually watched Gomer Pyle. I went to a Civil War reenactment once, though, where one of the guys, like his wife, forbade him from doing Gomer.
Oh, nice.
And he did. And there was, like, he was sitting around the fire, and all of a sudden he's like, yep, my wife said, I heard Gomer came out last night. And he's like,
oh,
yes,
no.
Man.
Ronnie's, our good buddy Adam Runyon, who's the other half of Screaming Boy there, he does a tremendous Gomer Pyle. Oh, my goodness. It was like he was on the same line. That can happen. Gomer happens. Gomer happens.
It was very amusing.
All right. Anything else about Cleanse the Bloodlines before we move on?
Just musically, I felt like it was a really wonderful song. Like, yeah, it was almost more of a mid-tempo sort of power metal song, but it had a lot of presence. I really enjoyed it. Fucking blew my pants off.
No, that's a good review right there.
Yeah,
all right.
Pants blowing.
Pants blowing. You got mind blowing, and then you got pants blowing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What's up next here? What's the next song?
Ooh, I should know this. Give me a second. So I managed to mess my laptop up because I stepped on it one day, so I got to get that screen fixed one day. Or I could just keep doing what I'm doing, and every time I use it, I just plug it up to my TV.
There you go. Screens, believe it or not, the screens aren't that hard to replace. I've done that twice. Once for a friend, and then I did one for my daughter's laptop. I bought a laptop that the screen was, it was cracked and you couldn't see anything, but they're actually really easy to replace, so long as tell me it's not an Apple. Is it an Apple?
Hell no. Do I look like I made of money?
Well, you never know. Hell, I could be an old Apple. I don't know, but well, that's good. Then you might be able to figure it out yourself, man.
We'll see. Or
save you some moolah anyway.
Sorry. There's some fabulous moolah. Which I do like that they named it the Mae Young Classic, because the Fabulous Moolah was a piece of shit.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh, fabulous. Oh, well, I'm sure you've heard all that stuff.
No. Enlighten me.
Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah. Because I found what the next song was. But, yeah, what she did was apparently she kind of hoarded out a lot of her female talent. And also demanded like half of what they make at all their shows or something like that.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty awful.
Yeah, that's
she was an
pretty
awful
shitty.
trainer, and she would often take like either, and if they said no, she would threaten she'd just get them blackballed because she had that much weight.
That fucking the business back then, man.
Cutthroat.
Yeah, it was. And you piss off the wrong person. You might as well just go ahead and go back to, whatever you were doing before you tried to get in the business, or move far, far away. But if that person's involved in the biggest promotion, you're going to probably be shit out of luck.
Yeah, I was listening to Talk Is Jericho when he had Bruno Sammartino on there, and that was because I didn't know a damn thing about Bruno, and it was some really interesting stuff. Like I didn't know he got black belt for a while because of Buddy Rogers. And he went up to Canada and wrestled there for a while, going back and forth between there and living in New York. And what ended up happening was he ended up becoming kind of like a Drew McIntyre. I don't know if you've watched much like NXT, but he was in WWE. He wasn't doing much. Then goes to travel the Indies, works in TNA for few years, comes back, and he's like a totally different, and he's really back at that level. Sometimes it kind of takes a little traveling for them to really recognize your worth.
Yeah. Wow, that is some traveling too. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty. There's a lot of guys that's happened to. I mean, Jeff Hardy. Well, he got fired because of drugs. Then he went to TNA. He came back and then got fired because of drugs. Then he went back to TNA, and now he's sober.
Hope he stays that way.
Me too. I think he will. He seems like he's in a lot better place. But yeah, anywho, here's track number 5 because like I'm sure somebody's like, God damn it, get on with it. Track. All right, here comes track number 5. It's called "The Coward's Way."
Coward's Way. All right. So back to our story here. The immortal has been told, okay, look, I need my 4 sons. You need to bring them back here. We're going to put them on the altar. I'm going to sacrifice them. Got to get this all done before the planets align. So now we're back to the story being told by the immortal himself. And he has found the first son. The first of 4 sons. He's the eldest, and he's a politician. So
damn Jews.
As we can see, the coward's way. What Brittney had said is that this first son is begging, and he's using anything he can to try and get out of the immortal's hands. Please don't take me back. I know what's going to happen. She's going to kill me. And he's just this real sleazeball of a guy, and the immortal has no problem grabbing this guy by his shirt tail and saying, "Nope, you're coming with me. We're heading back." So even if I have to drag you out, exactly. Even if I have to drag you out, the coward's way. So there's the coward's way. What do you think, man?
I think that's quite frankly just interesting. I mean, I really like the concept on this album. I didn't really realize it as I was listening to it, just how deep it went. Because one day I'll get on that level to where I listen to interviews and stuff.
Well, wait till you fucking hear the end of this album, okay? Because they weave a good tale. They weave a really good tale. And as we proceed through this story, once we reach the end, it gets interesting, in my opinion. Again, like I said, if she wrote this story, kudos. I don't care. Well, whoever had their hand in this story, if it was the band all together, if it was just her coming up, okay, here's the story. This is the song I want to. This is the tale I want to tell, and we need to figure out songs around it. Either way, it's really good. It's not your twisty turny, hey, we're getting to this. Oh my goodness, there's a twist in the tale or anything like that. It's kind of simple. The matriarch's brought this guy down and set him on his path. And so let's see how the path goes, though. The Immortal has feelings. He's not like some demon. He's a person like you or I. He just doesn't die. That's why he's immortal, obviously. But he's clearly very powerful. So him going and grabbing these sons, I'm sure she even says that he feels kind of conflicted. That, well, yeah, I really don't want to. Number one, I don't want to help out this evil woman, and number two, I don't want to bring her own sons to their own death. But then, as he encounters them, especially with this first one here, this first of the four, this guy's a shithead. He's a politician, sleazy slimeball type of guy, so he has no problem grabbing this guy and taking him there. So, but yeah, wait till we get to the end, man. It gets good. It gets good. Anything else you'd like to say?
The album really reaches its apex.
Yeah, and wait till we get to that song, buddy. There's some depth. Wait a second. No, it reaches some good heights. Not depth, some heights.
Wait a minute. One of those things is not like the other. These things just doesn't fit. But yeah, overall, just another really killer track. That is something. This album has a lot of consistency. I think there's only one track on this album that I listened to, and I was like, it went a little long. Otherwise, you don't notice how long the songs are. Nothing. Like, just fucking well done. The way I look at it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're halfway through, so up next is track 6. What's track 6 called?
Track number 6 is called Ooh. The thing that Mexico is going to build. Track number 6 here is called False Walls.
Now, it feels like they kind of slow it down a little bit there. It's still kick-ass, in my opinion, but they kind of bring it down a little bit. and tell a slower paced song, or tell a song. You ever tell a song? They give us a slower paced song. I would say, in regards to the story, the immortal has now reached the second eldest son, who is, I guess Brittney kind of likened him to a religious leader, possibly a wizard, who uses
He's a wizard, Harry.
he uses his words, and has a lot of people under his quote-unquote spell, I guess you would say. Kind of like a cult leader. She also mentioned like a leader, almost like a leader of a cult. And as the immortal reaches this son, again, he realizes this guy's just as evil as the first one he took out. And he feels obliged to help the people that are under his spell. So this guy's kind of evil. So the immortal grabs him, and again, he's not any competition for the immortal, and he takes this son and again takes him back to the matriarch, and the second eldest now falls victim to whatever the ritual is, and that's where False Walls comes in. It's basically the story about the place the second eldest son has brought up, the cult, I guess you would say.
Good band.
The Cult. I don't know much about those guys. What's their big hit?
If I'm not mistaken, they're a punk band. I can Google that shit for it. Give me a second.
Google that shit. Wikipedia that. Do.
All right.
The Cult.
I didn't realize it on speaker. Yeah, because I tend to sing when I'm waiting on the phone. Drives people crazy. Yeah, there we go. British rock band formed in '83.
I know once you say what the big hit is, I'm gonna recognize it.
Let's see. What's their big stuff?
It's the big stuff. Who do you think you are?
Let's see. Ian Astbury was in that band. Yeah.
Sure.
Let's see. Included single She Sells Sanctuary, Rain.
She Sells Sanctuary. Down by the seashore? Boy.
Let's see other singles. Let's see. Love Removal Machine.
Nope. Does not ring a bell. Wow. Mark Radler should probably be like, oh, I've got to make you a playlist right now. Firewoman.
Yeah, they're a British band.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about these guys. I'll have to give them a listen at some point. Back to our album then. What did you think of False Walls? Anything you'd like to discuss musically or story-wise?
I kind of felt like the song's a little long. It was a good 8 minutes. When this one, if I'm not mistaken, 8 minutes long.
It's 8.
And I think it's because it's more of a mid-tempo that it just kind of like, whew, all right, guys. It was a little much, but that's not to say that it's not a quality song. It wasn't. Not to say it's a good song. It just kind of went on a little long for myself. I still liked it. Probably the weakest track off the album for me, but hearing what it's about, I mean, because you catch bits and pieces here. This is like about the 4th time I've listened to this album, but kind of like the last few times, it's been on in the background, so I don't tend to like really read the lyrics while I'm listening, which I probably should. I may not be a good boy, but I haven't quite got there yet. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a fairly good song. I did like it. It's just it's a little long in the tooth in some ways. But yeah, we can go on to the.
I was just going to say that for some reason, the whole Overlord, the way she sings Overlord, and maybe it's a testament to the length of the song itself, but this is the one. There's always that one song. Like if I'm listening to a band that I really enjoy, I haven't heard before, some song will get stuck in my head. And when you go to sleep, you wake up and that song's in your head. At least that's what happens to me. And False Walls did that. I don't know what it was. Sometimes I really hate the song that gets stuck in my head too. Luckily, this is one I did not hate. So let me go ahead before we get into song 7. I want to go ahead and preface. I'll just switch it up and preface this real quick. This next song, the immortal meets the youngest son, and who is the leader of a lot of armies in this land that the matriarch rules over. So his next victim, I guess you would say, is the youngest son. And so this son knows that the immortal's coming. In order for him to try and ensure his survival, he uses his armies to stand between him and the immortal. So here comes the immortal. Now he has to face an army. And the immortal's like, look, don't die for this guy. Put down your arms. As a matter of fact, Brittney says that he's walking amongst the camps at first, trying to talk to the army and talk them down and just say, look, this guy's, you don't need to die for this person. So yeah, the immortal and the youngest son are separated by an army. Coop, give us the title.
The title of this track is in no relation to the Ice Earth song 10,000 Strong. This song is called 10,000 to 1 against one side.
Dude, you mentioned her range, and I think that this song is a perfect example of what you mentioned. She hits those notes just about everywhere. And it's magical, man. What do you think?
Yeah, her vocal range is almost like conversing with a carny. It just goes everywhere.
Yes, sir.
I once had a conversation with a carny at a laundromat. Yeah, that was I felt like torture.
Oh, wow.
That was one weird fuck too. That guy was weird. It's like, yeah, man, I watched this guy get stabbed over in New York. I was like, what the fuck? Why are you telling this to me? Like, I'm just trying to take my laundry, man.
Just leave me alone.
Like, see, I mean, this ain't like a dramedy or something to where, like, you know, well, you meet this cute chick and start making out with her. Nope, I get fucking carnies.
You had me at kayfabe. Nice. Oh, man.
But yeah, I mean, this song here is pretty fucking good song. I really enjoyed it. Again, kind of, it's really interesting to see the matriarch really raise some sons, though. Even though they're shitheads, boy, oh boy, were they influential.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I mean, well, I guess in your quest for immortality, if you have that drive, you're going to do whatever you can. I believe it was in Cleanse the Bloodlines where she says the only reason she had the sons was so that she could do this ritual at this certain time. Because I think she says, you know, they were raised or they were born for one purpose and one purpose only, and that was to kill them before this happened. Or at this specific time.
Oh.
kill the Batman. It. You know, we're 3 out of 4. The Immortal has just he's taken care of the politician. He's taken care of the religious fanatic, and now he's taking care of the military leader, leaving our 4th and final son. You know, what's he going to be involved in? What's going to happen here? So. Anything else you'd like to discuss there before we introduce the next one?
Well, one thing that I find it interesting that that the Immortal's doing this, even though technically he's immortal, so like nobody's gonna kill him.
Yeah, I don't know if she talked about. She didn't. I'm fairly certain she didn't mention much backstory about the Immortal other than the fact that he just kind of sleeps in the mountain and then he gets summoned. And when he's summoned, he has to do the bidding of whoever summons him. So as to what lore or what world building that fits into, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this guy, he could do just about anything and is just powerful. So, you know,
keep him away from the wood.
Keep him away from the wood. Oh man, this feels. That feels. What's the next?
Somebody, I was like, keep him away from the wood, and then he says, the manager, he's like, he's like, keep me away from the water too. I was like, oh yeah, we don't have the money to get a liquor license, do we?
Water and the wine. He'd be walking all over it. Ladies and gentlemen, next song.
Oh, that was a good one. I'm going to steal that.
Use it. What's the next one?
I will. I'll credit you. I will give you credit for it, though. I give credit where credit is due. That's what I'm good for. All right, next song. The 8th track is 8th track, right? Yeah.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost 10 tracks. Hey, that's a nice round number. Track number 8 is titled Earth and Ashes.
Now this right here, this might be one of the most powerful songs on this album, especially when it comes to the story. The immortal finds the fourth son, and we find out that he's kind of like your everyday family man. I mean, he doesn't want anything to do with power and anything to do with his mother, and he's kind of wandered off into the woods or into the wasteland, whatever, and he's got his own family, and he is just trying to live a normal life like anybody would. And the immortal, he encounters this huge conflict with himself where, again, he has to do what he is, the matriarch's bidding. So most of the song is about how he has to come and struggle with the decision that he has to take this son back in order to be killed by his own mother. And his family is going to be left without a husband. His wife's going to be left without a husband. His kids are going to be left without a father. But the immortal has this duty, this that he's bound by, and he now has to take this person and meet their own death. And if I remember correctly, in this song, there is a male vocalist that pops in at the end. And I'll just go ahead and read real quick what they say, because apparently this is the son talking. And he says, "I know you've come to take me home. I can't pretend that I want to go, but I know that death, it comes for every one of us, and I've lived a worthy life with no remorse." So it's a pretty damn powerful song, dude. What do you think?
I agree. Fucking killer track too. It does a real good job of fucking getting in there, hooking you real quick, and then kind of just taking you along for a ride. I really like just how lyrically deep it is too, because I did pick up on the lyrics. The one thing I never really got was the entire story, just because I was like, well, hell, I think the last track of this album I was slowly dozing off. Go me. I'm a good reviewer, I tell you. What am I doing? Watching wrestling and listening to metal and falling asleep during both.
That's when you're really tired. If neither one of those can keep you awake, then you know you're a tired man.
Which is sad, because I slept a lot, but I don't know. Maybe it was one of those because I had to go to work at 10 yesterday, and I usually go in at about 3 p.m. Going in at 10 a.m. is not bad, but it's bad when you wake up at 9:40 and it takes you about 10, 15 minutes to get to work. You're like, oh, fuck. Those are always my favorite, when you have to gun it and you clock in literally, because they give us 7 minutes before and after the shift to clock in. Like, if you want to clock in a little early or a little late to cut time or add it, they give you that bit of extra time. Well, I clocked in at 10:07.
Oh, you were pushing it. You were like sitting there wishing on red lights, wishing the red lights were green. I've been there.
Oh, I was sitting there cussing at the woman at the gas station because I got an energy drink and some Pop-Tarts. And this woman was like fucking trying to look through all the fucking cigarettes, wanted to look through all the fucking lottery tickets, and fucking do a seance for all I know.
She's going to write a check, too.
Oh, God. I never realized. I never realized how big a pain in the dick fucking writing checks were until A, I became an adult and had to wait behind people that wrote them, and B, had to become a person that ran them at a register.
Oh, man.
Because you feel the people staring at you like, oh, come on, you slow fuck.
No shit.
That is why that's why I do not like running cash register. I'll do it if the person behind the register's going. We had one guy, he's nice, but he was slow as shit. I had to pull the second register for him 3 times that night. And I was like, come on, man, I fucking hate running register, because when it's people's money, they fucking give you looks.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
I mean, I get
All
it.
right.
I do. I understand, but still, like, I'm like,
Yeah. Well, all right. So we're coming into the last two tracks here. So all four sons are dead, man. The immortal, no mercy. The matriarch has now, she has fulfilled the ritual. And now we're getting into track 9. You please let us know what this one's called.
I think I know what it is off the top of my head, but let's just be sure. Hey, there we go. Track number 9. It's a song about Matt Brown, the MMA fighter. It's called Call Me Immortal.
So this is kind of where the story took an unexpected turn, in my opinion. I mean, Coop, if you were telling this story, all right, the immortal comes back. All 4 of your sons are now dead. You've promised me freedom. And the matriarch looks the immortal dead in the eye and says, you know what? Forget I said all that. I'm immortal now. I lied. What would you think would happen? How would you write the ending of this story? What would the next step of the immortal be?
I don't know. We could always go with that immortal war.
No.
War between two immortals.
Good one. You know, we got some Highlander stuff going on here.
You know, I have that on Blu-ray, and I've never actually finished it.
Seriously? The first one?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is I always get excited every time I see the Freebirds.
Oh, yeah. You can't beat that. Can't beat that. And that's where you shut it off. You're like, all right, I'm done. Best part of the movie.
You're like, all right, there they are. Time to pack it up.
Yeah. Well, first off, I agree.
You know, there's a Highlander anime film.
Is there really?
There is. It's by the. If I'm not mistaken, is it by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko? Is he the director? Hold on, I got this. Son of a bitch.
I was going to say, I did not know that. I know I've seen, trust me, I got a friend of mine who is a huge Highlander fan. He has got, I think he owns, there was 4 movies, I think, wasn't there? I know I actually went and saw 3 in the theaters, by the way, which I believe is, I think 2 is heralded as one of the worst, but 3 I think they said was the worst. And I think the 4th one was, I can't remember. I think that's the one where Connor takes. There's Connor and then there's Duncan. But anyway, I did not know that there was an anime.
It's close. It was Yoshiaki Kawajiri did it. He's the guy who did Ninja Scroll and Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Fucking Ninja Scroll is so 90s and so much fun. There's like blood and fucking sex and gore and like everything. It's just like one of those. It's like so edgy 90s. Yeah.
Have I asked you already? Have I asked you already if you've watched the new? I don't think I have. Have you watched the Castlevania yet?
Castlevania.
Yeah.
I just finished it the other day.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it is good.
It is a really. It's funny because it's purely like American, but it really feels like a 90s anime. It's got that same the love of the gore. It's got that same. Yeah, it's got that same love of the gore and kind of like, in the, I don't know if you did know, but in the 90s, like they called it, I think it's 18ing, it's where they take the dubs and they punch them up with like a lot of language to try and get them a higher, make it to where it's got a higher rating so, it sounded look cooler at the video store when it's like 18 plus, holy shit.
I came really close.
That's what they would do.
I came really close to doing a commentary review on Castlevania. I was going to go into it cold and watch it and do a audio commentary and release it on the network, but I decided I asked Ronnie because I was wanting Ronnie to go in on it with me, and because I understand it's only like 4 episodes, hour and a half long, so that's completely doable on the network. But
it's only part 1 too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's another. They've already ordered another 8 episodes.
Oh, wow, interesting. So I'm down. I mean, I'm going to have to catch it. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard a lot of good things. So I knew you would have had to have watched it by now. So that's cool.
Considering like Castlevania is like a fetish of mine practically.
It's been mentioned on this podcast many a time.
I fucking love Castlevania. Like the animation for it, it's not stellar. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, best animation ever, but like it's solid animation, and the fight scenes are really well animated. They look good for what they are. They've got a nice gore factor to them too. That's what I really like that part of it. But yeah, like Trevor Belmont's your snarky asshole. You gotta love him. Very much in the same vein of like Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop or something. It was pretty well done. Like Alucard's pretty awesome. Dracula, they actually give him a reason for being such a dick.
I heard about that. That's awesome.
And the main villain is the church.
Yeah, that's the other thing I heard as well. Very interesting. I look forward to watching it.
Pretty cool.
Very good. Well, okay.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. It's good.
So back to this. Okay, so you said War of the Immortals. That's what got us off on that tangent. The crazy thing is, what I thought was crazy and almost depressing at a point was that the Immortal does not do that in this song. He just accepts that as his fate. And as a matter of fact, in the lyrics, right there at the beginning, he goes, "Yet all the same, the fact remains, I knew it was a lie. And all these years I've learned to hope is no way to survive." So he knew.
It's not surprising because if you've lived that long, like you're just eventually, I think there's a point you have to reach where you just say like, well, all right.
Yeah. And that's almost exactly what he does. He just, okay, I'm heading back. And he goes back. I mean, the chorus is, now I return to the mountain, keep slumber again for eternity. So he's heading back to the mountain. I was hoping for like, oh, we're going to get a battle. The shit's going to go down. When she was talking this story through, I wasn't paying attention to the songs I've already heard 20 times. I was listening to her tell the story as we went through, and I'm like, okay, I was trying to recall, do we get a battle? No, we don't. The matriarch's a complete, bitch about it. She says, no. Yeah, I mean, she's like, nah, you know what? Screw that. I'll call on you when I need you. And there he goes. Off goes the Immortal.
He's
this
like,
powerful guy.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
This powerful dude that just faced down an army, struggled with himself and took out, one of the most sympathetic sons there. He had to, an internal struggle that he had to fight. And all these things he accomplished, and then this one person that is absolutely evil, he decides to do nothing against. Really, it kind of bugged me, but just like you said, well, as far as storytelling goes, that's a great, I wouldn't call it much of a, I guess it is a twist, because it's not what I was expecting. It's not. What a twist! It's not what I was expecting, though. So kudos for telling a good story. Now we're reaching the end. We haven't reached the end though, because that was song 9. We're getting ready to go into our final song, song 10. What could the immortal be? What could be awaiting the immortal now? So what is the title of our final song, Coop?
I wonder what it could be. Could it be Apex?
Robert Cooper, I cannot wait to explain to you this final song. All right? So,
oh, please do.
the immortal...
just like a 14-year-old boy in front of a hustler. I am curious.
Wonderful. Wonderful analogy. The immortal makes his way back to his mountain home. And this song is pretty much about the fact that he's glad to be back and that he's done with what he's had to do. It's very clear that the immortal's curse is actually when he's awake in this world. And his only freedom is the dreams while he sleeps. So it kind of puts it definitely explains and gives you a good sense of the struggle that the immortal feels when he's being summoned and he's awake in this world. And the only thing he ever has to look forward to, and the only apex that he feels is that the only fulfillment in his life is when he's not a part of this one, when he's asleep and he's dreaming. But you ready for this, Robert Cooper? One of the things that Brittney made sure, and I don't pay attention to the lyrics until really we get into these songs. I'll sit down, I'll take a good look at the lyrics when we talk about them. But one of the things that Brittney said was that specifically at the end of this song, she goes back into it, Brother Mountain, now we sleep for 1,000 years. I will see you again. But then the last two lines, something is coming for me. So that's where we end the story. There's definitely going to be, she said, with a smile on her face, she said, I know what that is. And we'll have to see what happens. So
it's Hitler and his 1,000-year Reich.
This story's not done. It's unfinished. We just hit. It's coming, Robert Cooper. There is going to be something that happens. I really did not want. I did not want the immortal to go back into the mountain after being swindled by this matriarch. I did not want that to be the end of that story. And thank goodness, I don't believe it is. So Apex, my man, give us your thoughts.
I don't know. I feel like in terms, I guess because I've watched enough movies in my life, and I don't mind melancholy to where I've seen, kind of films and media to where the hero doesn't always work out for him sometimes. I think what movie was it? Was it The Most Wanted Man by Philip Seymour Hoffman's last film? Where at the end of it, spoilers, it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
He gets fucked over at the end. I've seen a lot of films like that, where it's not really the destination isn't some feel good moment or something uplifting. It's realistic. And it sounds like our main character here, the immortal Matt Brown, is I still chuckle at that because I'm like, I get that reference because I made it. To where it's really it's all about the journey, and the destination is something that the main character was, even though the audience wasn't expecting it, the main character was the entire time.
Mm. Good one.
But I
appreciate that.
I'm interested in seeing where this is going, because I do feel like in terms of a traditional sort of good guys win or evil getting its comeuppance, I feel like we are due for something of that nature. But if that was the end of the album, to where he goes back, gets fucked over, goes back and slumbers for 1,000 years, it's well, okay. But it does kind of bring up that, the matriarch's now immortal too. So
That's right.
They're bound to cross paths again.
Exactly. And that's why I am, you have no idea how excited I am to hear what the next album's going to be. I mean, when they drop the next one, I am absolutely following them on Spotify and getting those notifications because there's going to be the way that this story was told. Okay, just looking at it at a story perspective, I think they did a tremendous job. And I'll just put this as my final thoughts here as well. They did a tremendous job of telling you a story and giving you great music to tell that story with. Not a single one of these songs, in my opinion, was a sleeper. There wasn't something where I was like, okay, I understand you're trying to tell the story, but this song is kind of blah. I didn't feel that. And to have, number one, me go into the album and just listening to the music for itself and enjoying every single track, and then finding out that there's a story being told throughout each one of these tracks, I had a feeling that there was a bit of a concept at first, but it wasn't something I went and sought out. But then when I watched the commentary track and she said, yeah, this is a concept album and here's the story behind it all, dude, that takes it that takes it to the next level for me. I enjoy the music. Now the story that's being told is a good story. It's not one that's predictable. And hey, cliffhanger. Something's coming. What could it be? Not a song on this album that does not resonate as a kick-ass track, in my opinion. There's blazing guitar work. There's precise pounding of the drums. Our powerful leading lady bringing us the vocals in the story. This easily makes the top 3 of the year for me, and is one of the best stories that I've got to hear in 2017 be told by a band. Last year was Lordy, and their rendition of what was it? Theater, and I can't remember the name of the other part of the album. Monstereophonic and Theater. That was, I think, one of the best stories told in 2016. This one right here is top in 2017 when it comes to concepts. I'll continue to recommend this album to others, and the replay value, in my opinion, is easily off the charts. Thumbs up all the way. I can't wait to hear what the next entry in the story of The Immortal shall be. So, Robert Cooper, my friend, what final thoughts?
This album fucking kicked ass. It is everything I was really hoping it would be, and more. Yeah, just fucking phenomenal storytelling. Well done album. Especially now that I know, like, kind of each track, what was it going for. It really kind of brings even more appreciation to the album for me. Yeah, I love this band. Musically, they've evolved to a point to where I really feel like they've come to being something truly special, and this album really is proof of it. Even that one track that I kind of felt like went a little long, that's like between that and like, okay, one track had the chorus was a little bright for me. All right, well, that's all I have. Like, seriously, that's really all I can really complain about. Just fucking superb album. I love it. I'd probably 5 stars. Just get the fucking
damn.
kit in the
Hell yeah.
And you know I don't give out 5 stars very often at all.
No,
I'm
I do
not
not.
a 5-star person.
Well, I want to thank you, number one, for bringing it to my attention and bringing it on here to the Metal Hammer of Doom for sure, dude. I mean, if it wasn't for you,
anytime.
Man, I would have never had the opportunity to. I'm sure at some point I may have, happened across a song or two off of Spotify, but I'll tell you right now, it was good. It was good pickings, sir. Good pickings. Good pickings.
Thank you. I tend to think most of the albums I bring are at least interesting or different.
Agreed.
Because like I said, I got 2 more that are really like the one between the 2. I mean, we got Ackercock. That's going to be fucking good. And then Nail Bliviscaris just released a new song last week, or earlier in the week. And oh boy, am I excited. Because they're a progressive extreme metal band. So they've got like some of the black metal screams and the growls, and they're a progressive metal band with a violinist.
Ooh, interesting.
I
that'll
posted
be
a song in our chat.
That'll be fun to listen to. All right,
It's,
well,
like some of their songs are like 10, 15, like some of their songs can be like 10, 15 minutes long, but it's like it's musically interesting. Like so the violin just fucking pushes it over. There's some even one track I think off their first album, like, oh boy, this has a nice little salsa style to it. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we have said the word library at least 5 times tonight, and Blog Talk Radio has finally let us get away with it. I think we're going to finish our show. So we have, well, I guess we'll go ahead and get into plugs here. I'll let you proceed first, Robert Cooper.
Oh boy, I get to go first. Hallelujah. Okay, so there's this podcast. I'm on it. I like it. I'm pretty fond of it. So yeah, we'll have shows coming up. If I'm not, I have a calendar on my phone, and it's cool because now it's synced with the Google Calendar. What? So I actually get to see what we're doing. So I don't have to ask in the chat. I don't have to be like, hey guys, what are we doing? I can just look and I can find out. Ooh.
Nice.
Look at that technology coming in the clutch. Y'all weren't kidding when you said if I got a smartphone, it would change my life.
That's right, damn it.
Yeah, you're damn straight. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. This podcast, Centaur Rider Podcast, your home for all things Tokusatsu. Have we recorded an episode in well over 2 years? No. Do I still plan on doing it one day? Sure.
Sure.
Because I mean, I still have plans to watch the shows. So it's not that I've forgotten that they exist. It's just I'm 16 episodes behind on the latest Kamen Rider series and a solid 8 on the newest Sentai. So hey,
ouch.
I am getting backed up like a fucking guy after eating 10 gallons of fondue. It's a lot. All right, that's uncomfortable.
No poopies.
No, that's right. That's how backed up he is. So, yeah, find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Centaur Rider Podcast. It's SENTAIRDR Podcast. I think we have 1,000 likes, or at least we're almost there.
Damn.
Even though
Dude,
we
I'm trying
have
to push
not
40 with source material. I seriously have a source material Facebook page that has 40 likes. And it's been there
I have
for
one
over
with
a year.
980 or something, and we've not posted anything in over 2.5 years.
That's insane, dude.
It's
That's
the fucking
insane.
South Americans, man. They see Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, and they're like, oh, I love Super Sentai. Bioman 3.
Wow.
So that is a thing. It's a thing. So yeah, there's that, and then finally, my buddy Sean Garmer, W2Mnet.com. Yeah, they've got all sorts of podcasts. We share content with them. They run some of our stuff. We run some of their wrestling stuff. It's good stuff, you know. It's good to have a good wrestling podcast. I mean, we did have a good wrestling podcast, but what I hear, that show just imploded, and I think it's really funny.
Absolutely disappeared. Don't know what the hell happened.
Did the whole website disappear?
I don't know if the website is still out there or not. I haven't been on it for a very long time, but yeah,
Probably.
No clue.
Well, because I remember listening to it, and I enjoyed their podcast, but there was a lot of pointed bickering.
Well, when you start a podcast at 11, and you got Mark Radulich involved, and it goes to like 1:30, you're probably going to have, you know, some problems specifically with your guests or your host staying awake, number one, and then things are probably going to trail at about what they used to call the 12:30 arc. It gets a little silly or it gets a little stale, one or the other. And I think that's why Mark, you know, he definitely wants to start as early as possible, so we have a fresh enough brain to continue. Because man, I absolutely understand once about 11:30 hits, shit either gets stupid or it just gets, okay, when's this shit going to end? I've been there.
See, that's why you just need me, the guy that gets off at fucking midnight almost every night, because I'm just like, all right, cool.
We're ready to rock.
So I did have my share of when I used to do with Sean Garmer the game. I was the only person on the games podcast with him. When we get like 2 a.m. I'd start dozing off. He's like, don't you fall asleep on me, no.
Oh, jeez.
I did it to him once. He was talking, and then all of a sudden he's just like, Robert, Coop, hello, and I'm just like, just fucking dozed off.
I have yet to do that.
Like,
that is not on my podcast card yet.
Because, 4 a.m. is pretty killer.
You
pretty
guys
brutal.
are insane doing a fucking podcast at 4 a.m.
Dude,
that
he
is
used
what
to do that. Like, they used to do fucking 3-4 hour podcasts that are Wrestling to the Max, because they would cover so many things. They would do like they did Impact, SmackDown, Raw, like NXT. They did everything, like just everything all at once. So it would end up being like a 3-hour podcast.
That's dedication.
They were nuts. And now they just now because poor bastard runs his own website. Love you, Sean. Like now he's got to worry about podcasting, writing. And the problem is if he can't get everybody to can pitch in, he has to write stuff himself.
Yeah,
which is why for the New Japan stuff, I try to I contributed about 4 articles in the G1. It was about 3 articles in their G1 preview because I was like, why not? Because I like Sean, even though I still never turned that review into him. Oops.
Yeah.
Which I know, which isn't good because like I know the publishers are expecting a review, but I was like,
It's tough not to overextend yourself. I mean, it really is. I do 3 podcasts on this network. I mean, we do source material, I do this show, and I do Screaming Boy on Fridays. And 3, okay, I have a family, and trust me, there's days where I come down the stairs and I've got to pull out the daggers that my wife has stared into me as I walked away. Like, hey, I got a podcast right in the back. It's tough to do. And man, I couldn't even imagine trying to do a website at the same time, write articles. Wow.
And edit.
Yeah. Fuck, man. I mean, right here, we're doing a live show. Me and you ain't doing any editing to this thing at all. Imagine editing editing a podcast or editing an article or that somebody else submitted. I wouldn't have the time. I hope he's making bank. That's the only thing I can hope for. If he's got a job that he's actually doing, and all this on top of it, what a accomplishment. That's the truth. It's an accomplishment.
I mean, he's got a job, a wife. I think. I don't know how that is. He's got a kid. I know that.
Yeah.
Got a website. Like, they do like 2, 3. He's got like a video game podcast, sports podcast, wrestling podcast.
And you can find all of those here on the Rattlich and Broadcasting
On the Rattlich and Broadcasting Network. That's right. Look at you.
Look at me.
Because it's not like we don't have enough fucking podcasts on here by ourselves.
Yeah, we will add more. Dude, there will be some times where I do a content drop from the boys over at W2Mnet. I just grab everything and just be like boom, 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 boom. There'll be like 10 podcasts that hit the feed within, a couple hours because I grab all their stuff usually at once and then slap it on there. I try and get on the site and grab the podcast probably twice a week. They're monsters over there, man. They drop content just like you said, and I don't put half the stuff that they have. Soccer to the Max. That doesn't make this. That isn't on our network. We kind of keep it with the wrestling. There may be even an MMA show popping up here pretty soon. But yeah, dude, and the video games podcast, all that stuff. They do a good job providing some content. But hey, I don't want to cut you off on your plugs. You got anything else you want to plug?
No, that was it.
All right. Well, speaking of content, we have the Rattlich and Broadcasting Network, and we put content just like Robert Cooper said out there. We put content out there on our own as well. Let's go ahead. I'll give you real quick. We're going to do this week's schedule and next week's schedule because I got the Google Calendar too. Let's talk about what just dropped here Monday on source material. Okay. Now this is kind of an interesting week. Charlize Theron is affecting 3 podcasts this week. Okay. She's affecting source material, and we did a review of what is called The Coldest City. That is the book that Atomic Blonde is based off of. The most recent movie released that stars Charlize Theron. This is let's just put it this way. The book takes place in 80s Berlin. It's a spy thriller, and the book, in our opinion, me, Ronnie, and I think Mark agreed as well, not that good. It wasn't that good. But on Tuesday, this past Tuesday,
the movie was good.
Robert Winfrey.
I went and saw it.
Yeah, Robert Winfrey gave us a good review on Damn You Hollywood and said that the movie was actually pretty decent. So what I think, though, is that they definitely did a good job of giving you some action. The book was not filled with a whole lot of action at all. You just heard Unleash the Archers here, Apex on the Metal Hammer of Doom tomorrow on Trial. Mark and Sean Comer are going to be discussing The Italian Job from 2003. So check that out. Next week, coming up on the network here, dude, you're going to be involved in some stuff. First off, on source material.
I also found that out when I was looking at the calendar. So wait a minute.
Yeah, you're on here next week for sure. You got 2 podcasts that you'll be doing. I will be doing on source material Voltron from the Ashes. Me, Mark, and Ronnie. I read the first issue of this a couple nights ago, and I succinctly told our chat group that I know dick about Voltron. So this is going to be some fun. I'll be jumping into a title and a property that I have no knowledge about. But the writer I do know, he was involved in IDW's Revolution, where we brought ROM, we brought G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask all together in one big universe. So he is the same writer that did this comic book. So I didn't think Revolution was too bad. The first issue of Voltron from the Ashes, not bad at all. I don't think it's a 6-issue series. So check it out. If you're a Voltron fan, we'll be discussing that series on Monday. Now, Damn You Hollywood brings you The Dark Tower. So that will be Robert Winfrey, Mark Radulich discussing that. Robert Winfrey, huge Dark Tower fan, along with Benjamin J. Cologne may be making an appearance there as well. I wish I could make an appearance. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see the movie. I've read the first 3 a long time ago, and I started the 4th when I was in college, and I still haven't finished the series. Yep, I'm a sad man because that is absolutely one of my favorite series by Stephen King. I just never finished it. Then we have on the Metal Hammer of Doom, next Wednesday coming live. Right now it's scheduled at 9, but be prepared for Goat Whore, Vengeful Ascension. And if Mark was here, you know what he would say?
Whore.
Exactly. He would say it again with much more vigor. And then Robert Cooper. And I assume Mark Radulich, you got anybody else that's supposed to be popping up on that TV party tonight on Thursday?
He got Robert Winfrey in case I didn't watch it again.
Oh, that's right. We got second Robert Winfrey. Yeah, we got Robert Winfrey hopping in there just in case. Voltron Season 3 hits Netflix. Is that already out, or is that dropping next week?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's dropping, I want to say at the end of the week. I sure hope so, because if not, I actually have a problem.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the schedule for the Radulich in Broadcasting Network. I want to thank anybody who stuck around and listened to us jibber jabber on for another 20 minutes past our recording time. We appreciate every single bit of it. I want to go ahead and I'm going to leave the closer up to you. Let me find the closing music first, though, because that is a real problem that I have. Yes, indeed. There it is. That is the outro. Let's turn that up. Why is that so? No, we don't want that muted. There we go. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'm Jesse Starcher. I'm turning it over to Robert Cooper to take us on out of here, man. Go for it.
All right. So, yes, that was Jesse Starcher. I'm the Metal Cooper, Robert Cooper. Make sure you listen to us every Wednesday, somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock, depending on if Mark can stay awake for Marky Poo. Because, it's a hard knock life for Mark.
It's a hard mark life
sure.
for knock.
Hard mark life. Oh, you.
Oh, me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. God. Yeah, have you ever noticed when Mark's not here, me and you just fucking go on? Because we just fucking tickle ourselves. Fucking tank.
If we can get a good laugh out of each other, that's the night. I mean, that's perfectly fine with me. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's a good time. So anywho, so we'll have a little clip from Candlemaster's Hammer of Doom, of course, play us out towards the end of this podcast. So for Jesse Starcher, again, Robert Cooper, everybody listening, I thank you. Listen next week. So be well, be safe, behave, and keep the metal faith alive.